everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, and I'm really excited that you're here with us today.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia, and today's topic is something almost every English learner struggles with, especially B2 learners.
Yes, absolutely. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a conversation and you know exactly what you want to say, but your brain just stops?
Or maybe you start building the sentence in your native language first, and then you try to translate it into English.
And while you're translating, the conversation continues, and you miss your chance to speak.
If that sounds familiar, don't worry. You are not alone. So many intermediate learners face this problem. You understand English, you know grammar, you have vocabulary, but when it's time to speak, you think too much.
Exactly. And today, we're going to talk about something powerful. How to talk English without thinking.
Now wait, of course, we always think when we speak. But what we mean is how to stop translating in your head, how to speak more automatically, more naturally, more confidently.
Because real fluency is not about knowing every grammar rule. It's about responding quickly. It's about expressing your ideas without fear.
And here's the good news. This is not a talent. It's not something you're born with. It's a skill you can train.
That's right. By the end of this episode, you'll understand why your brain slows you down. And you'll learn practical techniques to start speaking faster and more naturally.
So if you're ready to stop overthinking, stop translating, and start speaking English more freely,
stay with us. This episode might completely change the way you practice speaking.
Let's get started.
All right, let's talk about something very important. Many learners at the B2 level feel frustrated. They think, I've been studying English for years. Why am I still thinking before I speak?
Yes, and this is such a common feeling. At B2 level, you understand complex texts. You can watch movies. You know grammar rules. But speaking still feels slow.
Exactly. And the reason is simple. Knowing English is not the same as using English automatically.
That's such an important point. At B2, your knowledge is strong, but your speaking reflex is not fully trained yet.
Right. When someone asks you a question, your brain does something interesting. First, it searches for meaning in your native language. Then it tries to build the sentence in English. That extra step translation is what slows you down.
And sometimes it's not only translation, it's also fear. You might be thinking, is this grammar correct? Should I use present perfect or past simple? Is this word formal enough?
Yes. While you are checking grammar rules in your head, the conversation keeps moving. And that pressure makes you even more nervous.
Another reason is perfectionism. Many B2 learners want to sound advanced. They don't want to make small mistakes, so they pause too long, trying to create the perfect sentence.
But here's the truth. Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is flow.
I love that. Fluency is flow. When you focus too much on accuracy, you block your natural rhythm.
Also, many learners spend more time studying grammar than speaking, so their brain becomes very good at analyzing English, but not very fast at producing it.
That's like reading about swimming every day, but never entering the water.
Exactly! You understand how swimming works, but your body hasn't practiced the movement enough.
So if you're a B2 learner and you still think before speaking, please understand this is normal. It doesn't mean you're bad at English.
It just means your brain needs more automatic speaking practice, less translating, less overanalyzing, more real-time communication.
Let me ask our listeners something. When you speak English, what do you focus on more, grammar accuracy or expressing your idea?
That question alone can change your mindset.
Because once you shift your focus from perfect English to clear communication, your speaking speed will improve naturally.
And in the next section, we're going to explain something fascinating, how your brain actually builds automatic speaking ability.
So stay with us. It's about to get really interesting.
Now, let's dive into something really interesting, the science behind speaking English automatically.
Yes, because once you understand how your brain works, it becomes much easier to train it to speak without overthinking.
Here's the key idea. Speaking is a skill, just like riding a bike or playing the piano. Your brain builds pathways kind of like highways for words and phrases. The more you practice, the faster your brain travels on these highways.
Exactly. At first, when you speak, your brain has to create a new path every time. That's why it feels slow and you feel like you're translating.
But when you repeat phrases, practice chunks of language, and speak regularly, your brain starts to store these as ready-to-use patterns. You don't need to think about each word anymore.
This is called automaticity. Native speakers have it naturally because they've been building those pathways since childhood. But don't worry, adults can build them too, with the right practice.
Right. Another tip from science. Your brain likes repetition, rhythm, and patterns. That's why shadowing, repeating phrases, and fast speaking exercises work so well.
It's also why speaking too slowly or always thinking about grammar rules can actually slow your brain down. You're stopping the formation of automatic pathways.
So the goal is simple. Train your brain to respond automatically, just like a reflex. Not perfect, not translated, just clear, fast, and natural communication.
And in the next sections, we'll share practical techniques to make your English automatic so you can start speaking freely without thinking too much.
Trust me, it's easier than you think. You just need consistent practice, the right exercises, and the mindset to let go of perfection. All right, let's jump into our first technique, and it's a game changer for B2 learners. Think in phrases, not individual words or sentences.
Yes, many learners try to build every sentence word by word, translating in their head. That's slow and stressful. Instead, if you use ready-made phrases, your brain can respond automatically.
Exactly. These are small chunks of language that you can use in conversations immediately. For example, from my point of view, I think it's better if, to be honest, it depends on.
And these phrases do two things. First, they give you a starting point. Second, they reduce hesitation. Your brain doesn't need to construct the sentence word by word anymore.
Let's do a mini demonstration. Julia, I'll ask you a question. Do you think learning English online is better than in a classroom?
Sure. Using phrases, I could start with, from my point of view, learning online has many advantages. I think it's better for flexibility and time management. To be honest, sometimes classrooms are more motivating. See how smooth that feels? I didn't need to translate anything. I just used phrases I already know.
Exactly. And listeners, here's a quick tip. Start collecting phrases as you listen, read, or watch English content. Write them down. Then, practice using them in your own sentences.
Yes, and repeat them aloud every day. The more you practice, the faster your brain will recall them naturally during conversations.
So, remember, stop building sentences word by word. Think in phrases, use chunks, and your English will flow much more naturally.
And that's just the first technique. Next, we'll show you how speed training can help your brain respond even faster.
Now, let's move to our second technique, speed training. This is all about training your brain to speak quickly without stopping to translate.
Exactly. Many B2 learners speak slowly because they're focused on grammar or perfect vocabulary. But speaking fast, even if imperfect, actually trains your brain to respond automatically.
Here's how it works. Set a timer for 1 minute. Pick a topic, like my favorite holiday or social media, and start talking immediately. Don't pause. Don't worry about mistakes. Just speak.
Yes, even if your sentences are short or slightly wrong, keep talking. The goal is speed, not perfection. Over time, your brain learns to form sentences quickly and fluently.
You can also record yourself and listen later. You'll notice improvement after just a few days. Your pauses will get shorter, and your sentences will flow naturally.
So remember, fast over perfect. Speed training is like a workout for your brain. It strengthens your speaking muscles.
And combining this with thinking in phrases will make your English flow almost automatically.
Next, we'll show another powerful technique called shadowing, which boosts speed and natural rhythm even more.
All right, let's move to our third technique, shadowing. This is a favorite method for fluency because it trains your brain to speak automatically, just like a native speaker.
Yes, shadowing is simple but very powerful. You listen to a short audio or podcast in English and repeat it immediately, copying the pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation.
Exactly. Think of it like echoing. Your brain starts recognizing patterns and builds speaking reflexes. You're no longer translating, your response becomes automatic.
Here's a practical tip. Start with short sentences, maybe 10 to 15 seconds of audio. Repeat them aloud multiple times. Then gradually increase the length as you improve.
Even 5 to 10 minutes a day makes a big difference. Your listening improves, your speaking gets faster, and your brain starts forming ready-made pathways for English.
And the best part, it's fun. You can shadow along with podcasts, YouTube videos, or even dialogues from movies.
So remember, listeners, shadowing plus speed training plus thinking in phrases equals your brain speaking English almost automatically.
Next, we'll do a live mini role play to practice everything we've discussed so far.
All right, listeners, it's practice time. Let's do a mini role play to try everything we've learned so far: phrases, speed, and shadowing.
Yes, and don't worry if it's not perfect. The goal is speaking freely without thinking too much.
Okay, here's the topic. Is social media more helpful or harmful? I'll ask the question, and Julia will answer naturally using phrases. So, Julia, what do you think? Is social media helpful or harmful?
From my point of view, social media can be very helpful. It connects people and provides useful information, but at the same time, it depends on how we use it. Spending too much time online can be harmful.
Perfect. See how she used ready-made phrases like, from my point of view, and it depends on. That makes speaking smooth and natural.
Listeners, now it's your turn. Pause the podcast for 1 minute and answer the same question out loud. Don't think too much, just speak. Use any phrases you know.
Exactly. The more you practice like this, the faster your brain will start forming automatic speaking patterns.
Remember, speed and fluency are built through real speaking practice, not just thinking about grammar.
Now, let's talk about some common mistakes that make B2 learners think too much before speaking.
Yes, mistakes that often slow your fluency, even if you know English well.
First, trying to speak perfectly. Many learners pause because they're checking every grammar rule or word choice. But perfection blocks flow.
Second, fear of judgment. Thinking, will people understand me, or will I sound silly, stops you from speaking freely.
Third, studying grammar more than speaking. It's important to know grammar, but if you don't practice speaking, your brain won't build automatic pathways.
And fourth, comparing yourself to native speakers. Remember, they've been speaking English for years. You're learning, and that's okay.
Exactly. Mistakes are not failure. They're a sign that your brain is training itself to speak faster.
So stop overthinking. Focus on expressing your ideas clearly, even if it's not perfect. That's what fluency really means.
And when you combine this mindset with the techniques we've shared, phrases, speed, and shadowing speaking without thinking becomes much easier. Before we finish, let's talk about something very important: motivation and confidence.
Yes, many learners feel nervous or shy when speaking English, but remember, confidence is just as important as knowledge.
Absolutely. You don't need perfect English to communicate. Every sentence you speak is a step forward. Mistakes are proof that you're learning.
Exactly. Imagine your brain like a muscle. The more you use it to speak, the stronger it gets, the more confident you become.
And even if you make mistakes, keep going. Speaking English freely is a skill that improves with practice every day.
So take a deep breath, trust yourself, and speak. Your brain is capable of amazing progress faster than you think.
Remember, fluency isn't about being perfect. It's about expressing yourself naturally and confidently.
And with the techniques we shared today, you are well on your way to speaking English without thinking too much.
All right, let's quickly summarize what we learned today.
We talked about why B2 learners still think before speaking and how the brain can learn to respond automatically.
Then we shared 3 powerful techniques. Think in phrases, not sentences. Use ready-made chunks. Speed training practice speaking fast, even if imperfect. Shadowing repeat after audio to build automatic responses.
We also discussed common mistakes that slow you down, like trying to be perfect, overthinking grammar, or comparing yourself to native speakers.
And most importantly, we reminded you to stay confident and motivated. Every word you speak is progress.
So here's your challenge for today. Practice one of these techniques for 10 minutes. Speak freely. Don't translate. Record yourself. And notice the improvement.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the English Learning Podcast, share it with friends, and leave a comment telling us your biggest speaking challenge.
Yes, and remember, your brain can speak English automatically, and with daily practice, it will.
Thank you for listening, and keep speaking confidently. See you in the next episode.